to run through the steps. But I'm going to turn it over to John, and I'm going to make him the spotlight if that works. I can do that, and we'll take it from there. Appreciate you all being here. We're doing a great show.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. I think we're good for recording. As everyone said, I think, as Mike already said, everyone can just mute their background noise. That'd be great. And I will get started. First of all, thanks again, like Mike said, for coming here. We're really gonna have a great show. This is really gonna be the first chance you guys get to see how building the booth is going to go. So let me just share my screen.
We didn't do any of that with them yet. Mm-hmm.
Is everyone able to see this? Mike, can you see what I'm seeing?
Yes.
All right, great. All right, so really what we're going to do today is just show you how to, in the Intrado booth, create exactly what you want your attendees to see and interact with your booth like. So essentially what this is the Space Builder is an interactive application that you'll all have access to, and it's really designed for you to configure your sponsor space using predefined styles, color palettes, and a variety of other existing content. You'll be able to really make your own one-of-a-kind experience for the visitors that come into your virtual booth. And Space Builder is the name of the platform that we use to actually build this. This is just a kind of an overview of what we'll do, of what we'll go through. But the best way for me to really explain it is to do it by example. So I will switch my screen over to the actual Space Builder. Let me just do that. So this is really what you'll see when you get in here. Let me. So you'll be given if you haven't already been given a unique login and password for logging into the Space Builder itself. And then once you're in here, this is what you're going to see. So I am going to do an example with the dynamic booth, which Nick and Mike were nice enough to set me up with to make it nice and easy, that dynamic paint products booth. And we'll pretty much just go through it. So first of all, as you can see that what I just did, and I know in this case, this will come up a lot because a lot of you are assigned to multiple booths to configure. So in your select a space box, you're only going to be able to see here the spaces that you have been assigned to as a staff member. Here I can see all of them as an admin, but you won't have to worry about choosing the right one. You will only be able to have a drop down to the ones that you are responsible for and assigned to. So once you have that, you can select each individual booth that you need to configure, and you're in it. So first things first.
John, I'm not seeing your screen. I'm not sure if anybody else is.
Oh, really?
Oh, wait a minute. I think you're on here twice for some reason. Okay, I'm good now.
You're good? You can see the screen? Yep. Are you sure?
Yep.
All right. So first things first, you'll also see a preview window right here. So at any point you can select this magnifying glass that I'm pointing at, and it'll take you into a new page where you'll be able to see your progress so far as you build the booth, which is invaluable. I wouldn't take what's in here, this space right here, as too seriously because it's kind of just the bare bones of it. When you press this preview button, this is what where you can really track what you've been doing so far, and exactly what an attendee would see if the event started tomorrow or today. So that preview window is obviously important. We'll get into it though. We'll go through these 12 steps to really get this booth up to snuff. So let's start with name. Obviously, whatever name we've been given so far is the one that it should be displaying as. So if there's any reason you should change this, I would probably go to Mike and Nick first. I wouldn't go ahead and make changes to the name unless you have that proper approval, because then it can get kind of confusing. I don't think we're going to run into that problem. There's no reason any company names or product names should change. So we'll stick with this for now. Dynamic paint products is good. We next have style. So there's really 3 booth styles that you can choose from, and really all style means is this background image right here, really just the color and aesthetic. You can really choose from either Elevate. I'll show you the difference. We got Vertex, which is just kind of a green, a little bit different of a layout, but just the different booth aesthetic or virtual booth aesthetic is what you're doing with a style. For this, we'll just stick with Elevate. And we will move on to the next step, which is colors. Your colors are going to be your really your 2 themed colors throughout your booth. It's really going to be your font and your background images. I can try to show you a little bit of what I mean, because I'll stick with some pretty wild colors to make them stand out a little bit. My primary color will be red. My secondary color will be blue. I'll apply those changes. You won't see much of anything yet because we haven't really started building anything out yet. But you'll see that later on when we preview a more complete booth. Okay, so actually, we already, like Mike said, we already have the order forms loaded for each booth. So as you can see, primary color red and the secondary color blue will kind of give you this look and feel for your tabs that we'll eventually set up. The next thing is going to be the logo. So this is obviously crucial. You'll be uploading a, I believe it's a 180 by 180. Let me just make sure I have that correct for the logo. The company logo should be a 200 by 200 pixel image that will not only appear here in your designated space for your logo, but the same image will appear in the overall exhibit hall or virtual exhibit hall when attendees enter there. So when you think of a physical event, picture that sign above your booth. That would be what your space logo is going to populate in the virtual exhibit hall as well. So it's crucial that this is the correct specs. You can always find the specs for any of these images and videos and documents and links here in the file size guide on the left-hand side here. But right now, I'll just tell you, it's 200 by 200 pixels for the space logo. So I will give you an example. Upload a new logo, choose file, and I will go into where is it? Just give me 1 second here. The dynamic logo, start my upload, and you will see the dynamic populate right there. Apply the changes, and then we can move on to the next piece of this, which is the About Us. So the About Us, we like, even though you're technically able to add as much wording as you want, we like to keep this under 100 characters or less, just because of the areas that this will show up. So in the actual exhibit hall, like I said before, you'll be able to see this logo displayed in your sort of virtual booth environment, but you'll also be able to hover over your logo and see a small About Us about whatever brand, company, product that this booth is all about. So we don't want it to be too extensive. This is kind of the perfect amount of wording right here that I just copy and pasted from Dynamic Paint Products that Nick provided me. This would be a good About Us, just to give you a short synopsis of what the booth is all about, so people click in. The next thing is going to be your front screen image or video. So this is the front screen image designated area. You can't move this. The same thing as the logo over here. This is the centerpiece of what people will see when they first come into your booth. It can either be a static image or a video that you can upload to here. a lot of people use the videos to give a short little entry video to people entering their booth the first time. But doing it the same way that you uploaded the logo image, you would click on upload a new image. And in this case, I'll just use a sample video that I've used in other events. Just give me 1 second. I'll start that upload. It might take a little bit, but it just depends on how big the file is with the video. Once again, the file size guide is your best bet for figuring out what each of these will be. I'll kind of give you a preview of that. This right here shows you, for instance, the company logo, branding image, the welcome image or front screen. For each of these different ones, we'll give you what yours will really look like and what you'll need to get it in there. So we'll click on preview, and here's where we're at so far with the booth. Once again, just a sample video. So we'll move on from front screen. We'll go to tabs. Actually, we'll skip along to documents and links. So you'll see that the Lancaster team's already really put up a lot of the documents and links that you'll need. You're not to really touch these yet. They have these here for a reason. They're tied to this Lancaster order form tab over here. But the way you would upload your own documents and links is as such. So you'll add here. You'll title the document or link, for instance, test product info. You'll give it a short description. It can be whatever you want it to be. And here's where you're going to want to make a selection based on what sort of document that you're actually putting in there. So for this, it would be an information. Any sort of product information that you'd want to put in here, you select the subject category of information. And even furthermore, you can go even further down into it with sell sheets and images, catalog, display breakdowns and catalogs, presentations, videos, web links, anything that it falls under, so that it's organized when people are trying to search for what it is you're actually offering. You can put tags here. So if it's a product, you can put product separated by enter that, and then you would also put I don't know. In this case, you could put putty. You could put tools. And this is used for our overall search feature within the event environment that they would be able to find your booth or this document or link with. So tagging is pretty important. Making sure that it's tagged correctly will allow people to find it much easier. So choosing a file, we'll go back to the Lancaster. And you will either choose a file here or you'll enter a URL. So in the case where you enter a URL would be if you have like a PDF or a white paper or something on your own website that you want people to link to through this document and links tab. So you'll save this. It'll show up here in your overall documents and links library, and we'll get back to how you actually get people or how you organize these documents and links library in a second. The next thing you'll do is go to a video collection. This is where you're able to kind of set up your own little like YouTube channel within your booth. So what you're able to do really is I think upload up to 8 videos in your library. And what you'll do is you will add a video, give it a title. So dynamic booth video 1, give it a short description, whatever you'd like it to be. And then you will click active, and display order is irrelevant for this moment. You'll choose a file, upload a video file that you choose. Just give me 1 second. I'll go back to this one. You're able to edit the thumbnail that actually shows up, and I'll show you what that means in a second, so that they can press on other videos and what they'll see as a static image. But for now, we'll keep it as that. We'll save the changes. Takes a little bit, depending on how big it is. And then you have that video uploaded, so you'll be good to go. Now, the next thing is going to be how you organize all this content in your actual booth. So that really comes down to tabs. So when you go into tabs, as we saw before, Mike and team have already made one for everybody, the Lancaster order form. That's not something for you to have to worry about. But you'll be able to create up to 6 tabs for yourself. And this will really be dependent on whatever you want them to say and ordered however you want them to be. So what you'll do is you'll add a new tab. You'll title it, and in this case, we'll do documents and links. Let's start with product. Sure, go ahead.
Step in for a second. Okay, so on those tabs, we're going to actually have some set, which will be your order forms. So if you're a booth that's sharing with Canada, it might say order forms CAN, and it'll say order forms US. Then also we're going to have one of those tabs there is going to be set as place order now, and that'll take our customers directly to our website where they can actually place their order. So, okay, that's all I had, John. Go ahead.
So, no, good point, Mike. So I think it's fair to call out that nobody should be creating those themselves, correct?
Yes, yeah, they'll go in there and they'll see some preset tabs in there.
I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit there, Mike.
Yeah, I think there's some feedback. So they'll see some preset tabs in there, which will be order forms, and it'll also be, after a while, we don't have it yet, but it'll be a place order now. And we'll populate the information in there.
Okay. So just to reiterate that, there will be a certain number of tabs which you won't have to set up yourself. The order forms and place order now will be pre-set up by the Lancaster people, and so you won't have to worry about that. We'll just worry about some other tabs that you might want to add on to your booth beside that. So we'll just go with just this test product documents and links tab that I was going to set up. So in this case, product docs, test tab, and you can call it whatever you want it to call it. The display order here decides in what order you'll actually see the boost, the tabs, all come down the right-hand side here. So we'll go with display order 0. The next one will be 1, and so on and so forth, based on whichever order you want to see them appear in. In this case, we're going to go to select documents and links for this tab, and we want to link it to our test product info document that we just set up before as a test. You can select as many of these as you want. You can have as many documents and links that you just uploaded on step 8 into one tab. There's no limit to that, but for now we'll just do this one. So you'll save changes, apply your changes, and we'll do another space preview to see where we're at. So now you'll see that second tab come down here. You'll click on it, or somebody would click on it, and they'll be able to either open that document. In this case, it's just a logo. It could be whatever you want it to be. A lot of times it would be a product sheet, or they can save that document to their briefcase, which each attendee will have access throughout the event. If they want to, sort of the same way in a live event, they would be able to carry around brochures and things like that. They would be able to save it to their virtual briefcase for later use and download.
And we're also incentivizing customers to go browse in these areas. So just by clicking on the booth, they'll earn points. By downloading product information, they'll earn points. So make sure what you're putting in there is very relevant to basically what we stock and what our order forms show we're got on promo.
Thanks, Mike. So without going too much further into that, I'll show you how to add another type of tab. There are actually about 7 or 8, I think there's 8 different types of tabs you could actually create. The most popular ones being the select documents and links, the external web page, and the video collection. So we just set up one of those videos before, so I'll do a video collection tab this time. We will go with a videos title. I'll give this a display order of 1. And we will save the changes here. And there's nothing more to do than that, because because you can only have one video collection set up, which we already did, it'll automatically link to that. So I'll preview again. I'll show you what the video collection actually looks like. We will click on videos, and you'll see this video automatically pop up. When you add a second video and a third, and so on and so forth, what you'll have here is a like I said, a video library, sort of like a YouTube that you'd be used to, where you'll have this video up here, and you'll have videos in queue or for people to select down below or to the side, depending on how you'd like to configure it. And I might as well just show you what exactly that would look like now. So you'll go back to your video collection if you wanted a second one. You would click Add Video. I'll just do Video 2. The display order here, depending on how you'd like which video to display first automatically, you would order in from 1 to 10 in order that you'd like them to display. The language you can leave the same. We'll just upload the same video as before. And this is where I'll show you what the thumb URL will look like as well, and how that gets translated over into the preview. Just give it 1 second to load. We'll preview it, save these changes, apply changes. We'll preview our booth so far. And as you'll see, just like I said before, you'll be able to see these 2 videos queued up right here. This is the one that's currently playing. It's highlighted, and you'll be able to click on this one and play that one too. So here's where you can actually change the video settings. You can sort them by the display order, as I said before, based on what you put in there for 1 through 10, or you can have them do it by title alphabetically. You can have them autoplay when people enter, which right now I didn't have it as. You can select that. You can select so that it loops after it's over. And then here's where you can decide how you'd actually like the video collection to be laid out. So video on top, list below is what we have. If we're going to stick with the YouTube analogy, we will have the video on the left and list on the right. I'll show you how that looks. But yeah, it's pretty much up to you. It's pretty customizable to how you want your booth and your video collection inside your booth to look. So this is kind of what I meant by that. So we will move past that. I will go and show you another type of tab that you can do that's pretty popular, which is an external web page. So for this, I'll do a contact us page. It can be anything from a contact us page to a product info page to really anything in between, whatever you want. If you have a URL, you can link your tab to it and you can take people to it. So I'll give us a display order of 3, an external web page, and I will just link to let's just link it to the Lancaster homepage. So you put the URL in here. You can either you usually want to have it go and launch into a new window because it gets a little squirrely when you have it launch within this space. It doesn't always load correctly. So I would always make sure that you check off the box of launching a new window, and then you can save your changes. And then I'll show you what that looks like now. So this contact us will automatically take me to that Lancaster page. Another type of tab you can configure is a chat room tab. So what you're going to want to do with the chat room tab is call it whatever it is you want. I would just do a chat with us. You'll give it a display order of 4 in this case, and you will create your own booth chat room. All you have to do is select add new and create a dynamic paint chat and save the changes there. So what you'll see is now you will have the ability for people to chat with the people in the booth overall with this button, as well as with this button, which you just enabled by creating that dynamic paint chat. And this chat, we'll get into this at a later training, but really just a quick overview. This chat is for all of the booth staffers as well as the booth visitors to interact in a overall group chat. You'll also have the ability to interact with people who enter the booth through individual one-on-one chats up here when you'll have to click on who's actually in the booth and interact with people one-on-one. But this is for the overall group chat of the booth.
John, they'll be able to see who's active in the booth as well from that.
Correct. On the live days, yes, they will be. But like I said, that's a whole separate training that we'll get into at a later date. Interacting with people once they're actually in the booth. That is the extent of the important types of content tabs that you would want to make. You do have these other options for blog space, HTML content, RSS reader, and social media. They're just not as widely used, and so I don't want to take up too much time with that. If you have specific questions about those, you can reach out to myself or Mike. I'm happy to walk you through any of these other types of content tabs you'd like to set up, but a lot of it will be pretty self-explanatory. I will move on to marquee messages, which in this case, I actually have some examples for the dynamic paint booth. A marquee message is really what's going to show up on the top bar right here throughout the event. So this is usually used for special shout outs, offers, deals that would really want to be caught by the eye of people who visit the booth right away. You're allowed up to 1,000 characters up in this box that can actually move across the screen. But obviously the less the better, just to make it less distracting, as we talked about before. So I will just copy and paste what I was given for the dynamic and show you what that looks like. So you're going to want to separate it by either spaces or one of these, or a dash or asterisk, whatever it is, so that people know that it's a different message. But usually a good amount of space will suffice between different messages within the ticker tape. So let me apply this and show you just quickly what it looks like. So as you'll see, this is the marquee message up here. So anything that you type into that text box will scroll across the screen the entire time someone's in your booth, for everybody who actually enters. You can also choose the actual colors of the marquee message box. So here I'll change it to red and black, and you can also change the speed at which it scrolls across the screen. So it's really up to you how you'd like to display to your booth visitors. So as you can see, now we have the red background with the black lettering. And that is it for marquees. The next thing is going to be the staff. So right now this booth has one staffer in it. You will have the ability to add staff to your booth as you see fit. So you would go into the staff tab, add a new staffer. You would either select a user that is already assigned to this booth, but most of the time you're going to create a new user and fill out their information the way you would really register for the event, so that person would have access to staff your booth on the live day. So I'll just put in myself. Login ID would be my email address and password. And I would just save the changes, and then I would be, I'm already in there, so it's not going to work, but I think it's self-explanatory. You would add the staffers that you want, up to 99 allowed to each booth to staff on the live day. And as you can see, there's actually a status right here of your progress with building the booth, these green check marks as you go along. So we're almost done with this here. Search words. Similar to what I explained before with tagging your documents and links, your search words are going to help people who are looking for specific things throughout the event search for your booth and have your booth come up as a result. So really the way you do it is by entering search words separated by commas up to 976 characters. So I was actually provided with some example search words as well, and I will copy and paste those in. So like I said, just the search phrase or word that you want separated by a comma to help people get to your booth based on what they're actually looking for within the event. And that is more or less a completed booth. You're obviously going to have different things based on what you're looking to accomplish within the booth, but this is essentially the extent of what your booth will look like when it is finished. So I'm sure there are plenty of questions. I am open to any of them.
Here's one I saw just pop up. Is there a way to change the background picture?
No, there's no way to change the background picture. The background picture is really limited to the three styles that we have preset, the Elevate, Quantum, and Vertex that we have here.
John, also, when they get set up in the booth as a staff member, they able to add their profile picture?
So you won't be able to add your profile picture until the event is closer to open. So we'll probably have a preview period about a week before the event starts, where all sponsors and staffers will be able to log into the event and update their profile, including their picture. So not yet, but it will become available. Yes.
And so everybody knows, customers will be able to log in, put their picture in. I know a lot of you are used to seeing them at the show and may not know their name, but with a picture, you may recognize them as, who they are and stuff. So we're also incentivizing to fill out their profile as complete as possible, which means a picture as well. Logins and passwords, John?
Logins and passwords for getting into the space builder.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Let me just show you what that would look like. Hold on.
You guys grab the vendors' pictures when they're there.
So your login and password is going to be your email address. Is going to be your email address for your login ID and your email address as well for your password.
And those would be the email addresses that you signed up with as your main contact. I think we were different contacts.
Yes.
So
Whichever one you registered
as
with.
the main contact, we'll send out this link to them, and they'll be able to log in. Now, are they able to set up some other people if they need be to create the space?
Well, set up how? I mean, set up in the staff? Yes, the way I just showed before.
Now, will the staff member be able to use Space Builder, or does it have to be specifically who originally gave the email addresses?
No, as long as you. So when you add a staffer here, you'll be able to select whether that person can sign in and manage and build the space.
Okay. So, there's a question: when's the booth going to need to be completed by?
Mike, what was the date that we came up with?
And I can't remember. I want to say around the 18th. Does that sound right? If you wanted 2 weeks ahead.
Yeah, I think we said 2 weeks.
Hey, John, do you want to go over how a person who's going to be managing or building out multiple booths, how they would access each booth?
That's not really a thing for today, because it's really more of a live day staffing thing, not really building the booths.
Well, we've got some people who have multiple booths here, I think.
That was set up multiple booths.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I understand that, and this training is really specific to how someone who has multiple booths would go in and create multiple booths, which I explained at the beginning is just by selecting the space in the top left. This training isn't really about what the interaction within the booths will be. There's no real way for me to show you it without the booths being built out.
Okay, so they'll select their spaces available to them. Okay, and then also
they'll only be able to see in this drop down right here which ones they are responsible for and assigned to.
And then the other thing I was going to say was, I remember you were talking specifically about YouTube videos. Like for the front screen, you can't do a YouTube video, right? You could only do like a link to a video, which would be more of like a tab or something like that, correct?
Correct. We don't support YouTube videos in particular. It's more of just for a YouTube look and feel. That's why I give that example. But the front screen would have to either be a file, an MP4 or a movie file that you would put in here based on the specs of the file size guide, or a link to a video that's hosted on one of your servers.
To answer your question, Doreen, we have not sent out anything, but we will be sending them to the main contact. So whoever signed up, we'll basically get you in with a link, and it's going to be your email for the login and the password. And I believe you were somebody who had somebody else who's going to build your booth. I think I may be wrong.
All right. Anybody else have any more questions?
Hey, Mike, we write a lot of products in on order forms. How are we going to be able to do that?
You would just have to work that out with customer service, or get it to Walter Curitan, who does all our special orders and drop ships and stuff, and we can figure it out that way.
Thank you.
Anybody else? All right. I just want to thank you guys for being on here. And as we go along, we'll send out the links, as Nick said. And once you get them and start working, if you have any questions, you can contact me or John Ankerman, John, or Nick. And we'll send out our contact information as well. And good luck building. And we're looking forward to hopefully a real successful event. We'll obviously have more customers than a typical show, since no one has to travel this year. So we're looking forward to some big sales. All right, guys.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks for everything.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.